This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
Watching ABC News live coverage as Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris hold their first event together, their first ticket event as 2020 Democratic contenders heading into the November election against President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence. We will have continuing coverage of that event coming up on World News Tonight with David Muir. Now here are the news at 5 stories we're following now at 5. 2 IMPD officers named in an excessive force lawsuit are now indicted by a grand jury on multiple criminal charges.
Those charges include battery on the 2 women who filed the lawsuit stemming from their arrest during the protests in late May.
RTV6's Cornelius Hocker joins us live tonight with the details. Cornelius.
Yeah, Mark and Amanda, those 2 women, Rachel Harding and Ivory Westfield, were arrested right over there at the intersection of Washington and Pennsylvania Street, seen in that widely shared video from those protests back in the spring. Now, the 2 women say they didn't even know each other before this incident, but they met up and Harding decided to give Westfield a ride after the curfew. Now, they say they were walking to their car after that curfew, and that's when multiple police officers approached them aggressively, which led to that hard-to-watch encounter. The women being hit with batons and pepper balls. Today, Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears announced indictments from the grand jury against 2 officers involved in this incident. Both of those officers are facing 6 charges, and they are as follows. Officer Jonathan Horlock is facing 3 battery charges, along with perjury, obstruction of justice, and official misconduct. Officer Horlock could face up to 17 years in prison if convicted and sentenced to those on the maximum penalty. Officer Nathaniel Shaywalker is facing 4 battery charges and 2 official misconduct charges. And if he's convicted and sentenced to the maximum penalty on all those charges, he could be in prison for up to 15 years. Now, Ryan Mears says this decision is based purely on the evidence that was given to the grand jury. And he wants people to know that these officers can't use their training as an excuse for their actions.
Can't say, well, hey, my training told me to do this if that conduct turns out to be unconstitutional or excessive. And I'm not necessarily saying that's what happened in this particular case, but I think it's important to remember what the law actually requires. And the law's standard is it reasonable under the circumstances? You are to consider the severity of the crime, the threat posed by the individual involved, and whether or not that person was actively resisting at the time the incident occurred.
Now, Ryan Mears did point out that these are merely indictments and not convictions, so they will have their day in court. The attorneys representing the women say that they are pleased with the prosecutor's office and the grand jury for their work on this case. Live tonight in downtown, working for you, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
And today, the Indiana State Health Commissioner announced they are working to create a dashboard that would track COVID-19 cases in schools. It's something lawmakers have been calling for, and WRTV has consistently been asking state leaders about. While the state has yet to release that information, we at WRTV have been tracking cases ourselves so families can stay informed. By our count, there are 55 confirmed cases right now at Central Indiana schools alone, and hundreds of students and staff being quarantined. Our Stephanie Wade questioned the commissioner today on why they are not providing clear guidelines to schools on whether to stay open while cases climb.
My question is it fair with this number of cases that superintendents are left to navigate this pandemic on their own and make these tough decisions regarding student health and safety? I've personally heard from some superintendents say to me that they wish they had more help and specific clear guidance because it's tough making these decisions right now. And I know every school district may be different too, but we've said that this virus knows no boundaries and we're still fighting the same virus.
I understand. All of the decisions that we've made with regards to this pandemic have been difficult decisions to make. And that's why our local public health people and the State Department of Health are happy to partner with any superintendents, principals, school administrators, local health departments across the state to help in that decision-making process as we look at all the different metrics of their particular county.
And because ISDH is not currently tracking COVID-19 cases in Indiana schools, we need your help to track them down. You can contact us with new information anytime by emailing WRTV web staff at WRTV.com.
Now let's get to the latest numbers that drive decisions by state leaders and educators. 671 more Hoosiers have tested for COVID-19. Those positive results recorded between August 5th and yesterday. The total number is more than 76,500. The overall positivity rate remains at 8.8%. 15 more Hoosiers have died from the virus. Those deaths occurred between August 3rd and yesterday. The statewide total is now at 2,878. More numbers that could help detail the coronavirus situation in Indiana. The state is launching its first of its kind dashboard today so that you can search for COVID-19 cases and deaths at your loved one's nursing home. The state made that announcement this afternoon. Nursing homes are required to submit their data to the state. The state will then verify the information and add it to the dashboard. You can search for the facility and find out the impact of COVID-19 on that nursing home. AARP Indiana has been pushing hard for the state to disclose where people have died in Indiana nursing homes and where outbreaks have occurred.
It's taken us some time to get to this point. We're pleased that Hoosiers finally have this data. And I think just with the conversations happening, transparency has never been more critical. We know this dashboard is an important tool for both Hoosier families, but also local leaders who are really looking at what's going on in their communities.
For months, Call 6 Investigates has been digging into nursing home deaths and asking our state leaders questions. 67% of the state's COVID-19 deaths have happened in nursing homes, and 13 employees have died throughout the state.
Bar and nightclub owners continue to face financial challenges in Marion County. There's no indoor service for customers and only 50% capacity outside. One owner says with no end in sight on the restriction, she tells RTV6's Troy Washington that everyone needs to do their part to save local businesses and end the pandemic.
We want this pandemic to end sooner than later, and I believe we all have to do our part to make that happen.
Lainey Campbell is the business manager for 317 Burger, Casbah, and Vanguard. Today was supposed to be the end of the shutdown for bars and nightclubs, but Mayor Hawk said extended restrictions this time without a reopening date.
We've kind of just started to expect not to reopen, and we'll be pleasantly shocked when and if we can.
For now, 317 Burger will stay open by offering outdoor seating at 50% capacity, which meets the guidelines set by the mayor for Marion County. Campbell says the process has been rough because the Casbah is a bar and Vanguard an event space.
Right now, people just aren't booking parties, so we haven't had any inquiries for those. We've kind of pivoted and started doing these family meals once a week.
She says they are trying to adjust to the new norm, but weekends are much different now.
I mean, they were packed Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights. Sunday reggae night's been going on for, I think, 26 years, and it's done. I mean, it's done for now.
Despite all the changes, setbacks, and continuously being told to hold off opening, Campbell says her team keeps looking for ways to get back going.
You know, maybe if we sold sandwiches, could then we maybe not be considered a bar, but at the end of the day, I think one of the rules they posted yesterday was any bar that hadn't been serving food, like a full menu prior to March 20th, couldn't, try to do that now. And I get it. I mean, I think bars are risky right now, but it's also super tough because that means a lot of people are out of jobs.
She's making peace with the waiting process for now while focusing on serving customers at 317 Burger and doing their part to slow the spread of the coronavirus. Working for you in Broad Ripple, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Our We're Open Indy effort, RTV6, is focused on helping businesses work through the challenges of the pandemic. So if you are interested in helping this business, we've got more details on the family meals offered at the Vanguard in this story at theindychannel.com.
The day after tomorrow, landlords may begin the eviction process for tenants who have been unable to pay their rent due to COVID-19. The eviction moratorium had been extended earlier this summer, but Friday it ends. Many families are worried about becoming homeless now. RTV6's Megan Sanctorum checked in with local shelters to see how they're preparing for a possible increase in families needing help.
Some organizations like Holy Family Shelter on Holmes Avenue are preparing to see an increase in families needing help once the eviction moratorium ends on Friday. Thousands of Hoosier families have been struggling financially during the pandemic. Many people were left without a job or with a reduced income, and now they're wondering what's next.
The moratorium itself has held off a number of families that otherwise would have become literally homeless on the street.
So places like Holy Family Shelter are working to prevent that. They're communicating with landlords and trying to work out payment plans for families. If that's not possible, they open their doors to those in need. Right now, the shelter itself is full, so they're working to place families in extended stay hotels. The eviction moratorium was initially extended earlier this summer, but Governor Holcomb says it won't be extended again, and he's instead directing people to rental assistance programs.
We do have options that are in place. We have invested $40 million. We're obviously going to be watching what that balance of that account, how it's affected in our rental assistance program. We're also working to make sure that there are mediation programs in place to help folks.
Organizations like Holy Family are working to do the same. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
We do have a lot of information and additional resources regarding rent assistance on our website at theindychannel.com. We also learned today that Indiana's moratorium on utility disconnections will not be extended past Friday. That means power could be shut off as soon as Saturday for Hoosiers who have fallen behind on their utility bills. But some companies such as Duke Energy and Citizens Energy Group have said they will not voluntarily disconnect customers until after September 1st. The Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission did provide some relief for customers, ordering utility companies to offer extended payment arrangements of 6 months through October 12th.
Students in Wayne Township are back at school today, but not all are attending in person. The district has several models in order to reduce capacity inside school buildings. But as RTV6's Nicole Griffin reports, one mother is upset that the Ben Davis University High School does not have an option for her kids to attend fully virtual.
That mother that we're hearing from tonight tells me she is upset because she does not feel comfortable sending her 2 sons, which she says are high risk, back into the school building. She wants the district to offer a complete virtual option for the Ben Davis University students.
My oldest son is a type 1 diabetic. My youngest son has asthma and a chronic cough.
Stephanie Hagan has 2 sons that attend Ben Davis University High School. Students who attend the school are on a hybrid schedule, which requires 2 days a week in person and 3 days of virtual learning. The goal is to reduce capacity in school buildings.
It's not right to force them to put themselves at risk like that.
Students at BDU are early college high school students on a track to get their associate's degree through Vincennes University. Wayne Township Superintendent Dr. Jeff Butt says it has never been an option to recreate the early college program virtually.
In order to have an early college program that is geared towards an associate degree, you have to have specifically credentialed staff that are offering a wide array of courses that are specific to those degree tracks. Those courses are not currently available and will not be available at the virtual high school that is geared towards a high school diploma.
If students want to attend school virtually, they have the option to enroll in the Achieve Virtual Education Academy, which offers AP classes and dual credit courses. But this option is not geared toward earning an associate's degree.
My oldest son, he said it's his senior year. He's done all this work, and he's already said if he gets forced out of the program, there's no guarantee that he's going to go back to college, because this is, work for this, but it can be taken away at no fault of your own.
Hagan's biggest concern is the health and future of her family. She wants her sons to be able to continue attending Ben Davis University, but she's worried if they attend in person, they could end up at the hospital with COVID-19. Working for you, Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
And the superintendent says there are only 200 kids in the 3-story building at Ben Davis University, which allows them to follow CDC's social distancing guidelines. He believes it's one of the safest buildings in the district. Brad?
No fans in the stands, but a busy day on opening day at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And here you're only about 6 feet away from a 3-time Indy 500 champion. Elio Castroneves is here, as is the field of 33. We'll take a look at day 1 of practice coming up live with our Trackside 6 coverage.
And Brad, we can look down the front straightaway with our camera on the Pagoda. Temperatures 83. Lots of clouds around, maybe a sprinkle or two this evening. We'll look to the weekend coming up.
It's about time to go racing again. Drivers return today to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the first practice for the delayed Indy 500. Let's get to Brad Brown, who joins us live now trackside. Hey, Brad.
Hey, Mark, we're just a little off of trackside. We're just to the entrance/exit of Gasoline Alley. Let me tell you real quick here how the setup is. With kind of a bubble, sort of, with the media here, we don't have access to Gasoline Alley, the garages, or pit lane. Really, we're just kind of adjacent here. You see Elio Castroneves talking to some of the other media over here. It's about as close as we're getting to anybody. It's really only the teams and the drivers, kind of the safety crews and whatnot that have that direct access. So we're going to be doing things right here on the fringe trackside, so trackside-ish over the course of the next dozen days. But fans not in here today, but I got a chance to go just outside the main gate here on 16th Street earlier today and get a look at fans watching from the outside. This is just on the other side of the south chute, outside of Gate 2 on 16th Street. A few fans spotted up in the parking lot, watching from the fence, just getting a chance to see anything that they could of the action here inside the Brickyard. And I suspect we'll see some stragglers out there over the course of the next several days as they try to get a taste of the action as close as they can. Now, practice will continue again coming up on Thursday and Friday. They'll be on the track at 11 a.m. on both of those days, going until 5:30. So a total of 13 hours of practice available over the course of the next 2 days. That'll lead up to qualifying coming up this weekend on Saturday, and they'll make the run for the pole with the Fast 9 shootout coming up on Sunday. Among the storylines we'll be following this week, one of those is the return of Fernando Alonso, the former Formula One champion. Of course, missed the field of 33 last year. This year he's driving for the Aero SP McLaren team. It's sort of a new combination, a three-car team of former Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports and the McLaren team coming on board with that number 66 car. Alonso getting on course with the rookies and the refreshers in the middle of the session today. He talked about getting back here for a shot at redemption in 2020.
The series is going to be a big difference compared last year, that we were maybe not prepared enough to for the challenge. So I'm reasonable confidence that it's going to be a good event for us, but you know, we take it step by step.
Now, look at this list of rookies and refreshers. There are 5 true rookies, first-time Indy 500 starters in this year's field. Some talented young drivers right there, a couple of former Indy Lights champions, but look at two guys taking the refreshers today. Alonso, Formula One world champion. Elio Castroneves, 3-time Indy 500 champion, and some other Indy veterans there as well. By the way, we'll hear from Elio coming up tonight on the news at 6. Dave First and Tony Kanaan will be here live. They'll be a little closer to the track than we were here. That'll be our 6 o'clock show for you coming up. We'll take a look at a little more of the action from around here at day 1, and TK will break it all down with us as we get started right here. A little quieter than expected, but once the cars get going 230 miles an hour and turning left, it's starting to feel a little bit like May here in August. Live at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Brad Brown for Trackside 6.
And thank you, Brad. You can tell there's a decent amount of cloud cover today because the scoring pylon looks nice and bright. Clouds may lead to a sprinkle or two across central Indiana, but not expecting much in the way of rain. I'll show you what it looks like in the Speedway at 16th and Georgetown on the radar. Couple of specks there just outside of 465 and I-70. But again, nothing more than a sprinkle. When will our rain chances increase? You're looking at Friday before we see any more widespread threat. And I'd say Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the best chance for thunderstorms will be a little southeast of Indianapolis. Not to say that we won't have rain elsewhere, but the probabilities will be a little higher there. Temperatures warmest from Terre Haute to Lafayette along the Wabash River. Temperature is 82 in Greenfield. Temperature also in the low 80s down in Bedford. All right, here are your temperatures through the evening hours tonight. They'll slowly fall. We'll battle the cloud cover, temperature around 76. That's at 11 o'clock tonight. Maybe some patchy fog overnight. As we go to the weekend and beyond next week, that's when we see the change. Weekend temperatures warm, mild conditions next week, and the heat will be pushed back to the southwest, and you see our temperatures fall from Saturday and Sunday to a very respectable 77 degrees on Tuesday. That will come with lower humidity as well. You can look forward to that. Still on the humid side, though, until we get to early next week. Tomorrow, mixture of clouds and sunshine, temperatures mid-80s, really status quo. Nothing really changes. The model has shown at times some showers and thunderstorms southwest of Terre Haute to Bloomington and Seymour area tomorrow. Not at this model run there. You start to see them hint up toward Bloomfield and Sullivan, but again, the chance for rain very low across the state tomorrow as temperatures will stay in the average range. Friday forecast, a little more cloud cover, better chance for thunderstorms and temperatures of about 83 degrees. As you go through Friday, you'll see more showers and thunderstorms spiraling back into the state. That's why we've jumped it to 40% chance for showers and thunderstorms. Put it all together for you next week. Temperatures are coolest starting Tuesday and Wednesday. Not only will high temperatures be in the 70s, but we'll manage overnight lows in the upper 50s. And that's something we'll hold on to. The 6 to 10 day and 8 to 14 day outlooks both call for below average temperatures and below average rainfall. We'll be back with more news right after this break.
Boys and girls clubs across Indianapolis have been getting a helping hand this week. Employees of Byrider have been painting, landscaping, and organizing school supplies for club members. The Boys and Girls Club suspended services earlier this year, made changes to their summer programs to keep members safe from the spread of COVID-19. Today, Byrider employees got to work at the Legore Club on West Minnesota Street.
A lot of the folks here have been actually working from home for the last few months due to the COVID, and so this is a real treat for them as well to get out and just give a little bit of the day to help others out.
Byrider is planning future service events to continue helping out the Boys and Girls Clubs of Indianapolis. The news at 6 starts right now.